It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
Smart people don't like me. We have the worst education almost in the large world, the world that people know about. The windmills are driving the whales crazy, obviously. You know, grass is a lifetime like people have a lifetime. I know a lot about grass. Everyone is talking about artificial intelligence. I find that too. Artificial, I can't stand it. You know, I don't like anything that's artificial, so could we straighten that out? You know, we've cut drug prices by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500%. I don't mean 50%, I mean 14, 1,500%. $8 million for making mice transgender. Seriously overweight. And he takes the fat shot drug. Smart people don't like me.
They're trying to make mice transgender. Boy, Donald Trump is crazy. The windmills, they're annoying the whales, obviously, okay? We gotta hear that again. Y'all didn't hear it long enough.
Smart people don't like me. We have the worst education almost in the large world, the world that people know about. The windmills are driving the whales crazy, obviously. You know, grass is a lifetime like people have a lifetime. I know a lot about grass. Everyone is talking about artificial intelligence. I find that too. Artificial, I can't stand it. You know, I don't like anything that's artificial, so could we straighten that out? You know, we've cut drug prices by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500%. I don't mean 50%, I mean 14, 1,500%. $8 million for making mice transgender. Seriously overweight. And he takes the fat shot drug. Smart people.
Shout out to It's Valerie is Trunk. Valeria Sistrunk? I don't know what it is. Valeria Sistrunk. That's the content creator. Hilarious.
So Wigs R Us has just ordered over 20,000 National Guard troops to be trained for, drum roll please, protest and riot control. Yes, you heard me, babe. 500 fucking National Guards in every fucking state will be required to be trained with batons. Frumpy will use the National Guard as his personal little army. The Guardian just broke this news. So these National Guard members will be trained in quick reaction forces, trained in riot control, including batons, body shields, tasers, and pepper spray. And this is an internal Pentagon directive. This man is gearing up for midterms. He is going to make it hard for us to vote. He is going to make it hard for people to protest. He is going to make it hard for us to use our freedom of speech. This man is a fucking dictator. I would say it can't get any worse, but I'd be fucking lying.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we need it, but I mean, for whatever reason, Trump doesn't want you guys to he don't want to see no more no kings protest in America ever again. So he's going to be sending out his troops anytime you decide to rally and you're not wearing your white coats or hoods.
Significant number of companies either announcing that they are not going to be doing much hiring or actually doing layoffs, and much of the time they're talking about AI and what it can do. So we're watching that very carefully, and you know, yes, it could absolutely have implications for job creation. Significant number.
I just got laid off from my job at CBS, and every producer on my team who got laid off is a person of color. Every person who gets to stay and will be relocated within the company is a white person. Now, in my meeting with the executive who told me I was getting laid off, I specifically asked him if it was a consideration for us to be relocated somewhere else within the company, and he said that we advocated to keep the show. We advocated to try to get you relocated somewhere, and we couldn't. Because I asked him, why are you the person who is making this decision or delivering the news that we're being laid off? And he said, oh, it could have been anyone. Only to later find out, because it wasn't until I went downstairs thinking that me and all of my colleagues had been laid off that I found out that it was only the people of color. So I went one by one to my white colleagues. Are you getting laid off? No. 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 So I went back up to his office and I told him, I think you lied to my face. And come to find out, it was not his decision to eliminate the show that I work for. But he did get to decide who got to stay. I told him, you said that you couldn't get us relocated, only to find out that you were able to get some people relocated, and they all happen to be white. Am I supposed to believe that that's a coincidence? And he said, yes, I'm supposed to believe that's a coincidence. I said, do you believe that's a coincidence? He said, I do, because I chose to keep the people who I had worked with before. So mind you, not only is it not based on merit, it is in its result racist. I don't care if you decided to keep people who had purple colored hair. You deciding to keep people who you had worked with before, which don't even know if that's true. If the outcome of that decision is racist, the action was racist, that shit is fucked. I just got laid off.
Well, I'm not an HR professional, but when there's smoke, there's fire, and I'm gonna just say, young man, go get you a lawyer and do what you gotta do. I don't even know what's going on here at this point. It sounds racist, or it doesn't sound racist. It sounds bigoted. It sounds, the way he put it, but I don't think he actually understands. But he understands whatever is going on is not right. That's all that needs to be understood.
It's the natural cycle.
I think not for the people that are losing their jobs.
Exactly right. If you're one of those people that's in the cycle, it doesn't feel very natural. It doesn't feel very fair. But if you think of the cycle we've had, and sort of starts with the COVID cycle, we had the exact opposite. Every company was hoarding workers. Everyone who came in and said, look, I can't hire good people. I can't get good people. Anyone I get, I'm retaining, I'm attracting. We came out of COVID with workers at an all-time record high in companies. Companies were hoarding workers, and they weren't going to let them go at any cost because, heaven forbid, they should need that incremental person. They couldn't get them back. We've gone from hoarding workers at the end of COVID, and now, 3 or 4 years later, we're to the point where we're going in the corporate world. We're going from hoarding workers to we're going to let's see how efficiently we can run. Let's have one less marginal worker than we need, with the understanding that the environment is that I can hire back a marginal worker tomorrow if I really need them.
It's not AI yet.
There's a little bit of AI.
But by the way,
look, I'm not going to say AI is not part of this equation. It's a little bit of AI, but a lot of this is traditional workers. So, the 50,000 workers at United Parcel Service, that's not AI. That's volume going through
In terms
UPS.
of the AI piece, so when do you think that there's a tipping point for that?
I don't think there's a tipping point. I think there's an evolution.
Okay.
I think you're going to see companies continue to embrace AI, continually figure out how to create a company-wide enterprise solution that creates real synergistic cost savings outcomes. And as that happens, you will start to see companies, I don't know if they will necessarily get smaller,
right,
but they will definitely move people out of certain tasks that people hate to do.
How fast is the evolution and how painful
Well,
is it? Are we talking like watching The Wolfman?
We're starting. We're in it now.
Or?
We're in it now. We're in the beginnings of the evolution now. It's the next.
Yeah, this is where you go to. He said they're hoarding workers, but now it's like, okay, well, we have enough staff, and we're going to downsize. That's what they call it, downsize. So they fire from the top down. Well, I mean, the bottom up. They fire from the bottom up. And so the people who've been there the less amount of time go. And then they stack more work on top of the workers until they figure it out. And they come up with a new system. This usually happens when there's a change in directors. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody at the top gets changed and they want to do this. They want to be like, all right, we got to cut this whole system. We need to cut these people out of here because they're really useless, and we can put those jobs on to somebody else, and we can keep our workers working efficiency for 8 hours. What they say is like a person in an 8-hour day works about 6.5 hours. So what they're trying to do is cut out people by hours. About how, like if you got 600 hours worth of work and each person in the 8-hour day does about 6.5 hours, they trying to cut out enough people for that 1.5 hours to make those people who they do keep work for that extra 1.5 hours. That's how it works.
Amazon laid off 30,000 people today. The narrative is that this is about AI replacing jobs. The reality is very different, and I want to be really precise about it because it gets at corporate structure and finance and not really at AI in the way you think. So when people think AI layoffs, they think the robots are doing the jobs now, and therefore we are having layoffs. No. The people who are doing the jobs are more stressed if they're still at Amazon, but the AI automation story isn't actually hitting those jobs. What is hitting those jobs and is related to AI is the cost of chips. So NVIDIA sells chips to everyone, GPUs. Those chips are how we power AI, and none of the major cloud providers can get enough chips right now. Microsoft can't, Google can't. Google's in an easier spot. They have TPUs, and Amazon definitely can't. In fact, people don't know this, but AWS has a roughly 25% burning backlog on GPUs. In other words, they are missing out on revenue because companies are begging for more compute from AWS that they can't fulfill because they can't buy GPUs because they only had so much budgeted to buy GPUs. And so, yes, the layoffs are related to AI, but in this case, it is burning corporate demand for GPU chips that is hitting the capital expenditure budget of Amazon so hard that they need to find other ways to reduce fixed costs so they can meet the expectations of Wall Street around the overall margins of the business. And you might be like, well, why does that matter? They're all like billion-dollar companies. In Amazon's case, their margins have always been notoriously thin everywhere except AWS. Retail is like a ridiculously thin business. But the AWS margins have been really good. And so the street, for better or worse, expects them to continue growing the high margin business at a good clip. The street was not happy with their 18% year over year growth rate this quarter. And the street is looking for them to pick that growth rate back up, which they cannot do if they cannot buy more chips. And they cannot buy more chips without destroying their margin unless they can cut costs other places. And chips are so expensive that the only way they can cut costs is by going after jobs or fixed costs or salaries. And that is what is happening. And so really, when you read this, instead of reading this as a guidebook to where AI is automating, read it as a guidebook to the things that Amazon finds least painful to cut when they have to trade talent for GPUs in order to maintain their margins. So these were very hard discussions, and the places they cut are places that I think they are strategically not as invested in. And that is the way I read it. None of this does anything to make people who got fired today feel better. And so I don't want to pretend it does. If you got let go from Amazon, that really sucks. And this doesn't fix it. And I hope you find a role soon. There is absolutely life after Amazon. I found life after Amazon. It does happen. There's a huge network of Amazon alumni out there, including me. And yeah, we look out for each other as best we can. But the narrative is something I do care about getting right, because I am tired of lazy narratives around AI, and I wanted to be very precise here. So that's what's really going on. And yeah, when you hear the easy AI automation story, kick the rocks a little bit and see what crawls out.
Someone in the comments says, I'm an Amazon employee. My limited knowledge confirms AI has nothing to do with it. They need to make the balance sheet look good because they're anticipating a bad holiday season. Yeah, they would anticipate a bad holiday season. A lot of people aren't even spending. Go look at the holiday decorations. There's the people who are, hell bent on Halloween, but not as many Halloween decorations out there. I also look at the price of candy. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but the price of candy's pretty high. Now you're like, oh shit, y'all gonna get Twizzlers for for Halloween this year. Y'all gonna get Tootsie Rolls, but even those are high. But so it might be a bad holiday for those types of spending. Then Black Friday's coming up. I mean, how many damn TV? Everybody got a flat screen now, and there's no need to rush out to Black Friday when you can order it online. But pretty much, you can find those savings all year. I got a 85-inch TV from Best Buy for like $600 or $700. 85-inch. You know what I mean? So nobody's rushing out to buy stuff for Black Friday anymore. So Amazon is the worst because I just bought like 3 things off of Amazon. So I don't see why they trying to cut costs when I'm constantly spending from Amazon. And the fact that they can deliver it to me before I go to work in the morning is even better. You know what I mean?
Day and night. For some women, it can start working in as fast as 1 week.